Hello and welcome to the second evening of Real Divorce Talks for 2025. And the first quarter of 2025. And last night was phenomenal for those of you that were here. We heard some amazing speakers that were a lot of practical stuff around divorce. We had quantum healing. We had how to protect yourself when your kids are involved in a toxic divorce. And then we also had a speaker on money types and how your perception of money impacts your decision making going through the divorce. So today, we're going to focus on more of, I'm going to say, the inspirational side of divorce and the emotional side of divorce, because that is a huge component that the legal system doesn't prepare you for. So welcome. My name is Marty Winder Adams. I'm a certified divorce coach. I've been a mediator and I'm a high conflict divorce coach. I've also been a parent coordinator and a co-parent trainer. So my background is in helping people prepare for divorce and hire the right professionals. My speaker tonight, my first speaker, is somebody that I've got to say this, Jessica. I don't know if I've ever said this to you before. I have interviewed probably close to 300 people on my podcast, and I've only ever cried on one, and that was the one where you shared your story. So Jessica has a special place in my heart, and I want you to get a chance to meet her. So I'm going to do this quickly and get off the stage here so you can hear. Jessica Renfeld is an author and a speaker. She helps women navigate life's challenges by weaving gratitude, joy, and radical resilience into their everyday lives. Having survived a terminal illness, a heart transplant, and a profound loss, Jessica brings authenticity, deeply compassionate, and a real heartfelt perspective to her work. She believes that resilience isn't about toughening up. It's about softening into gratitude, finding joy in the small moments, and using life's challenges as a catalyst for reinvention. Through her coaching, speaking, and her upcoming book, she empowers women to break free from overwhelm, realign with their purpose, and create a life filled with passion, clarity, and strength. And Jessica is here today to talk to us about radical resilience, reimagining, and reinventing yourself after divorce. Jessica, welcome. I am going to pop off the screen and let you take over.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Marty. And I have loved just being able to be part of your world. And I loved being a podcast with you. And I've been so grateful for the other opportunities that have come up. You're just a joy to talk to. So as Marty said, my name is Jessica Renfeld. I am the founder of Mindset Coaching by Jessica Ann. And I'm just going to kind of speed through my story because I have some skills and strategies that I want to recommend to your audience tonight, Marty, that I think will really resonate and get people excited about life and new beginnings. So, 10 years ago, everybody from the outside would think I was living the American dream. This is my family. My cute daughters and my husband. From the outside in, I think everybody thought I was happy, fulfilled, had a great corporate career, and all the things. And then tragedy struck my life. I was diagnosed with a terminal illness called cardiac AL amyloidosis, which is reserved for men who are usually over the age of 70. So lucky me. Anyway, it put me into stage 4 heart failure. I had to have a bone marrow transplant, and I did 10 months of outpatient chemo. These different treatments did put me into hematologic remission. I thought I was doing everything right, eating healthy, reducing my stress. I continued to work, and unfortunately, in January of 2020, I had a very big stroke, and it was so big that they thought that I wasn't going to be able to walk or talk again. But thank goodness for grand miracles, because here I am today, walking and talking, even climbing mountains, believe it or not. But it was that stroke in January of 2020 that alerted my heart failure doctors that Oh my goodness, this woman's heart is so sick and so stiff that it caused a clot to go to her brain. And we need to look into getting her on the transplant list. So that's what happened. I was listed on the transplant list in February of 2020. I waited for 18 months for my heart. 15 months of that was outpatient, and the last 3 of that was as an inpatient in the cardiac ICU. Now, I want you to all think about 2021 and what was going on. Um, that is like the worst time to have to wait for a heart is in the midst of COVID. And then not only that, but to be put in the hospital and have such little interaction with my friends and family because of the limitation on visitors in the hospital at that time. Um, on top of that, while all of this was going on, my marriage was falling apart. He had had multiple affairs, and I had lost all trust in him, and my marriage broke apart. So here I am navigating the healthcare world in the middle of a pandemic. I'm scared what's going to happen to my finances and what does this mean for me? You know, who am I outside of my marriage? And all these questions came up, but something magical happened in the misery. And that's that I made a decision to really get curious about my life. And what was it that I could do to make my experience and my challenge create growth and expansion for myself? And so I really leaned into it. And so I wanted to talk about embracing radical resilience. Here's a quote that I've written, and it says, "Resilience isn't a rigid outer shell. It's a softness that allows you to bend, adapt, and rise again. It's rooted in gratitude, nurtured by joy, and strengthened by every step forward, no matter how small." And I think that's the important part. No matter how small, you're making a choice to move forward. It doesn't have to be perfect, it's just forward movement. So, my journey, the foundation of why I feel I've done so well, was embedded in gratitude. Gratitude's like one of my favorite things and topics to think about. When I think of gratitude, I think of so many things, but in such a dark situation, and let me just share this, I've calculated the days that I spent in the hospital in the last 9 years, and it actually adds up to over 6 months that I've spent in a hospital. So to live in such cold, stark conditions and to be able to find gratitude there is really quite the feat. But I found it. And to have that vibration of gratitude in your life be raised in such difficult times is incredible. But it ended up starting to be really simple. You know, I looked for gratitude in little places. Maybe it was a nurse who was particularly kind, or a provider who took the time to explain what was going on, or maybe it was just the simple fact that I was grateful that there was interventions that I could undergo in order to prolong my life. You know, you hear off and on over the years, at least I have as an adult, adopt a gratitude practice. And off and on throughout my life, I did. I started gratitude journals and then dropped the gratitude journal and started and stopped. But I knew how important it was in this situation to adopt that practice and not give it up. And so that's what I did. Every day I wrote in my gratitude journal. It started out with just 3 things because I was sick and it was hard sometimes to think of just 3 things. But as what happens is those 3 things grow to 5 things, to 10 things, to 15 things. And before you know it, you're filling a page and you're seeing things to be grateful for all over. And it's not that those are new. It's just that your eyes are and your heart are open to those things because you felt to see them before. You know, we get really busy and sometimes we're head down just trying to put one foot in front of the other, get through the day, you know, get to work on time, feed the kids, get through all the meetings, cook dinner when you're done, and you forget to see all those little things that you can be grateful for. So I'd like to encourage you to just think of a few little things that you might have been grateful for today. I love coffee. I love the smell. And I was thinking about it. What is it about coffee that I love so much? And it's not just the taste of the coffee, but it's what it represents for me, the emotion that it gives me. It's my time to sit, to breathe, to be calm, to take slow sips, think about what I want for my day, and I go forward from there. It's like a new start to every day, that cup of coffee. I love a good night's sleep. There's three things that I hate. I hate insomnia, I hate being hungry, and I hate being cold. So if I can wake and know I had a good night's sleep, that's like one of my things that I'm just so grateful for. But my most favorite thing to receive is a smile from a stranger. And COVID was hard for me because everybody's faces were covered. And so I would find myself looking for a smile in the eyes and not always getting it. So I do not take a smile from a stranger for granted ever. And I always am sure that I'm the smiling stranger for somebody else. So something incredible happens when you raise your vibration to gratitude like this. And that's that joy happens. And joy is so different for everybody. But I firmly believe that joy is the emotion that we're meant to feel as humans on this earth. And these are my two pups. This is Fig and Peaches. And they bring me joy because they love me no matter what. I can be grumpy, I can be tired, and these little pups just love me and make me feel so happy inside. But there's a lot of things that fill joy for me. And here's just a few. Curiosity. So I've gotten really curious about different hobbies that maybe I hadn't done before because I was too busy or just took life for granted. I started making sourdough bread. That middle picture is a quilt that I quilted my mom that she laid across her lap every day before she died. And that little painting on the side is just some watercolor that I just started playing with, and it's definitely not something I can't just like paint a landscape, but I can have a lot of fun with shapes and colors and found that it's something I really enjoy. Something else that fuels my joy is adventure. When is the last time that you felt adventurous? You just picked up and you went somewhere that you'd always been curious about? Well, I love adventure. And for me, an adventurous soul means that I have a joyful soul. And all these things together, gratitude, joy, curiosity, adventure, they all equal this like unbounding resilience. And as long as you're cultivating gratitude and joy, resilience follows, but it's not something that just happens. I know a lot of people think that I just must be a resilient individual, but it's actually something that I have to work for. And I do that through cultivation of all these different things that I mentioned prior to this slide. So here's another one of my quotes. Together, gratitude and joy form a powerful equation, a formula for resilience. So now let's just start to reimagine your life. You know, divorce isn't the end of the world, but it's like an opening to a whole new world. Like change your mentality from victim to victor and get curious about things. But I just wanted to highlight a few things that have helped me and I think can help you into your next step into life. Let go of what no longer serves you. You know, if you're hanging on to anger, or maybe it's friendships that you had that were friendships that were also with your spouse. If those aren't serving you anymore and you find that they're exhausting you or they just don't set right in your body anymore, let those go. And lean into curiosity without limitation. Nobody ever said that you had to set limits on how curious you were. As a teenager, I always wanted to try fly fishing, and I have found out that not only do I love it, but I am pretty sneaking good at it too. And I have absolutely fallen in love with it, which really lends to the adventurous side of me as well. But it's all about taking those small, courageous steps towards what feels right for you. just lean into it a little bit at a time. It doesn't have to be anything big, you know, it just get curious. Curiosity is like the catapult that can take you to your next step. So now let's just talk about reinventing yourself with some purpose. I often think about what I wanted to be when I grew up. And I think that passion and purpose are completely dynamic, ever changing. When my kids were little, I just wanted nothing more than to be a good mom. As they grew, I wanted nothing more than to really grow my corporate career and get good at that. But when I look at what I wanted to be when I grew up, it was always a common theme. I thought about being a physical therapist, an occupational therapist, a marine biologist, because if I'm going to serve on land, I might as well serve in the sea, and a nurse. And you'll notice that all my common themes are of serving others. And while I'm not doing any of those things, feel like I have found my perfect place in the world in serving other people as a mindset coach. So, think about what and who you are at the core. What makes you happy? What just like sparks a fire in you and gets you excited? And then I think it's super important to lean in community, like this community that Marty's created for us. These are all my friends. They've all been married and divorced at some time, and we all lean into except for the little boys, of course, but we all lean into each other, and we find a lot of safety and joy in our relationships as middle-aged women. And I think community is so important in kind of finding our purpose as we move out into the world, away from our partners. So now I would just encourage a little exercise to go into the week. It's nothing hard. I just would like you to kind of think about this, maybe take out a pen and pencil and journal about it this week. But I just want you to write down one small step that you can take today toward igniting a passion that you've either lost or that you'd like to discover. Again, it's all about that curiosity, and curiosity is such an amazing tool into leaning into what we can really have passion and purpose about in our life. So one final quote for me: when we embraced gratitude, we awaken to beauty already within us. When we lean into curiosity, we uncover new possibilities. And when we dance with joy, we reignite the passion that makes life extraordinary. And just as Marty said, my whole, I told Marty this before we jumped on the call, I'm always a servant and sometimes a speaker. As long as I'm serving others, I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do in the world. And my whole goal is to help midlife women fall in love with their own life again. So these are ways that we can connect. Instagram. And then also I'm offering a free 45-minute coaching call to anybody who might be interested in that. And also I'm offering a $100 discount for an upcoming 4-week workshop I'm doing on designing an intentional life, aligning with passion and purpose. There's QR codes down there at the bottom that you can scan. But if for some reason they don't scan or anything, I'm sure you can always reach out to Marty and she'll help get that information to you. So with that, I will end it and open it to any questions that anybody might have.
Helps if I take the mute off. I got the recording on, but forgot the mute off. Yeah, Jessica, thank you so much. And I'm sure everybody listening can understand why Jessica is just such a positive person to have in your life. Now, you did also give us some gifts that people can download when they get to your website. So I put that link in the chat. And I would really just encourage you, if you are, in one of those seasons of life where sometimes maybe joy and curiosity and adventureness and maybe approaching something new and different that's going to be a challenge is feeling a little overwhelming or unsettling. Jessica is just such a phenomenal person to just reach out and talk to and see what see what she can offer and how her services might be able to serve your needs. So Jessica, thank you so much for being here. I am going to turn the recording off and then ask anybody if they want to ask questions. We have some time, but let me turn the recording off first here. So thanks again, Jessica.